the ad as well. I seen Watchcott was the first guy to say it. CC was saying he's seen ad time. Watchcott, Wannabe Scrapper seen it as well. So it's just something I wanted to see. Will it make a difference on your live stream, on your revenue when they calculate the revenue every week? I just want to see, will this ad make a difference or not? Is it something that is worth doing when you're doing a live stream, or is it not worth doing? Does it make any difference at all? It's always something new. I can experiment a bit more with YouTube sort of stuff, because it's not my, I'm not classing YouTube as a income stream where other people would class as an income stream for their thing. So sometimes if they've this ad might have lost me 5 people there. They might have just seen an ad and gone, oh, I'm out of here. I'm not going watching any more of this. So that's where I can take the risk, and it doesn't bother me. Roadhog, welcome in, and who else I see? Skid and Scrap, welcome in. So we go back to, I'm just going to about the full-time scrapping, because we have a few more scrappers in there. And in the chat, these scrappers, put in yes if you're a full-time scrapper, and put in no if it's just a hobby, just so I can see how many people out there are actually doing it as a full-time job, or is it just a hobby. So we've Shark Scrapper, first man in with a yes, and I'm waiting to see who else will come in then with their stuff. See you scrapping is yes. George is just doing it no, so he's a hobby. JR Cash is a hobby. Ralph Morrick, no. UK Scrapper is yes. Optimus Prime is no. Paul Frost is no. Who was an ad I can put in? The ad I saw was a big breasted cartoon girl. It must be because you're watching too much big breasted ladies, so the Google decided to send that towards you. Rolled his hobby. I'm not seeing the rest of the chat since the ad. Oh, he's not seen the rest of. Also, since the ad, you can't go back and see the chat. Is that what you're saying? I'd have to look at that. Hobby for Kevin. Full time for Skids and Scrap. Hobby for Cruiser Mac. We know that Grandpa Kevin does it as a hobby as well.
It keeps me from getting my thumbs tied up.
Yeah, Big Country Scrapper. Are you a full-time scrapper, or I think you do driving as well, don't you? I think you do haulage.
He's a bum, that
guy. Was a hobby turned into a full-time hobby.
Hey, Earl.
Yeah, that can happen too. It can turn into a full-time hobby, but then it turns into a living. And again, when it does go from a hobby to a living, that's when you have to be more selective as well, and what you keep and what you break down and how you break down it, as Shark Scrapper will tell you. I can see Watchgod smiling away there, Mike. He must be up to something.
Just reading his comment about.
We're allowing him. Allowing him, yeah, on the panel. So you guys are doing it as a full-time hobby? Have you been or full-time job? Have you been doing it for years, or is it only in the last couple of years? And what made you guys go from, or were you always a scrapper? Was your father or your grandfather or uncle or something a scrapper before you, and you just stepped into their boots and took over? Because that happens to some people as well. They go down to generations of it. So their father was a scrapper and he used to do it, and then their son will take over.
It's a family rite of passage.
Yeah, exactly. So CC developed. I actually started working in a scrapyard in January, but I still do it on the side. Yeah, and then when you're in the scrapyard, you might see some nice juicy stuff coming in that you can liberate.
It's funny. I know a guy whose father owns a recycling company, and he has an older brother, and they both worked at the scrapyard. And he said, I don't want anything to do with the recycling business, the scrapyard business. I'm not going to do it. He said, it's one thing. He said, it's like probably his older brother's going to take over the company when his dad stops doing it. He said, I don't mind my dad telling me what to do, but there's no way in hell my brother's going to tell me what to do.
I have another guy in the basement, and he hasn't got his camera on. Can you just switch your camera on for a second? You don't have to leave it on. You can turn it back off again. Yeah, that's okay. So you are who you are. That's all right. Hey, Big Red, welcome in.
Hey, Big Red.
How are you?
Great to not see you.
Great to not see you. Oh, where's he? Oh, Mike.
There goes Mike.
So,
Mike's
hey, Big Red,
I don't deal with Canadians.
Big Red, do you do this as a full-time or is this a part-time job, the scrapping?
Full time. I've been doing it full time for almost 20 years.
hey every day.
Okay. I
Welcome
thought
back.
you'd done another job for a living. I thought you were a truck driver or something. Don't
No,
know what
no. I mean, I have a big roll off bin truck, kind of like Canadian Treasure Hunter does. And
Okay.
I kind of, but I do a lot more like industrial pickups, company pickups, stuff like that.
Okay. And before you were a scrapper or a full-time scrapper, what did you do for a living?
So I used to be a jeweler.
Okay.
Ah,
So that's
more
kind of win for that. I understand now why you do the bullion stuff. So that kind of goes into each other. So it does, yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
do lost cast method?
Yeah. So I do. Well, I've done lost wax, but mostly I do sand casting.
Okay.
Just to me, sand casting is one of the oldest methods of casting metal.
Yeah.
Period. And I kind of like to stay with the historical aspect of it,
Right.
I don't know what happened there.
Now, the reason I ask is I had an older brother that was a jewelry designer by trade, and he did specifically lost cast method.
Yeah, like I've done lost wax and stuff like that, lost casting. Yeah, I mean, I've done that. I've done sand casting. I've done, a number of different ways. So, but my favorite's always been sand casting.
That's nice.
Welcome back, Everyday Slaughters, by the way.
Hi.
What was I going to say there? Yeah, so there's a good few actually in the chat. A lot more people in the chat do it as full-time scrappers than I thought there was, which is interesting. So and again, but I'd say most of the people that I seeing it are in America. So it does seem to be a more American thing to be a full-time scrapper because the opportunities are more America and Canada.
That's because we always do everything.
Well, I'll tell you, Canada has really kind of messed things up as far as the scrapping industry goes, because a lot of the scrap yards where I'm at, they don't hand out cash. It's got to be direct deposit into your account now. So you have to claim everything. So that kind of screws the little guy, And another thing too is if you go to cash in any copper or anything like that, you have to have a contract from the company stating that you have the rights to their copper. If not, you are not allowed to sell it at the scrap yards now.
What? Wow.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Sounds like your sorry ass needs to come to Michigan.
Yeah. E-waste boards. You are not allowed to sell e-waste boards whatsoever at a scrap yard unless you have a hazardous material license.
Wow.
So that's kind of what that's what I'm trying to be getting right now, is that so I can take all my e-waste and drop it off in Michigan at Mike's house.
Yeah, because actually, haven't you got a huge amount of e-waste in storage?
Yeah, I have 3,000 acres of land, and I mean, I got about close to 48 24-foot shipping containers on my property just full of e-waste.
Gosh.
It's his reason why I had to go get a full-time job, because I got to wait for his ass.
Yeah.
I'm blaming you.
If you put down it's up to you, you wouldn't have to go working for the man.
Right. Yeah.
I like being here.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the border and the papers and all that stuff, so that way I can get it all sent to them. I mean, I got 2 transport truck trailers just full of stuff right now, ready to go.
I see what Cruiser Max said there. The yard he goes to in Vancouver, in cash, they have an ATM on site. So
Yeah,
they have
but
an
he has
on site.
he has a full day trip down and back just to get rid of it.
Yeah, see, I can't go to Vancouver. For me to go to Vancouver, it would take me almost 2 weeks to get there.
Whoa.
Are you walking or riding?
No, driving. I mean, I'm on the other side of Canada from him, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're on the
Hey,
East
So Big Red, when Mike falls flat on his face with this deal, give me a call, man.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping he doesn't. I mean, he's a lot closer to me than you are. But hey, I mean, I hear
Here's the problem.
nice, so.
Here's the problem. If somebody would get off their ass, we could find out quicker if I fall on my face.
I want the video rights.
I mean, it's questionable. You know, the weather's nice in Florida. You know, I mean,
Yeah, he'll wait till he'll wait till end of October, November when it's cold and nasty.
Somebody says you're Canadian Amish.
no, I'm Canadian German and native.
Looks like an Amish.
Gesundheit.
I look like an Amish though, because I got a pretty nice, sexy beard. You know.
No mustache.
But no, as I say, over here, it's impossible. Well, it's not impossible to do it as a full-time job. It's just there's not enough scrap to make it viable. I don't think there's too many of the big companies have it already sewn up. They've all the big contracts sewn up. They collect everything house to house, stuff like that. So to try and break into that will take a lot of money to set up. So for me, it'll always just be a hobby as far as I can see. I'd love to be able to do it full time, but again, there is the downfall. If you go full time, then I'd have to, as Mike could say, we're already on about it. I wouldn't be entitled to my pension when I retire from the state because I wouldn't have put in enough.
But see, the thing here in Canada, like even if you do sell e-waste boards here at your scrapyard, you're only getting 5 cents a pound.
Yeah, same here.
I mean, tin right now, tin shred, we're getting 18 cents a pound. I'd rather just throw it in my tin if that was the case. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, but then I got a hold of Mike and I was watching his videos and seeing what he's getting from Board Store, and I'm like, man, like I'm sitting on a gold mine. You know, I mean, I got 55-gallon drums just full of CPUs. You know, I mean, yeah.
And when do you hope that all this can be sorted out, that you can get this? Because I'm sure Mike will still be involved in this deal, even though it's gone.
I'm hoping like beginning of June. I'm really hoping. You know, like I mean, I have probably close to 60 Gaylord boxes just full of stuff that's got to go to Mike so far, and that's not even breaking into the shipping containers yet. So
I can see at the beginning of June, Mike going to his new bosses and saying, "Thanks all for the job, guys, but it was nice knowing you. Goodbye."
Hey, do you blame me for a 50-50 split? Come on.
Hey, all I got to
know what he has, so I know what he's sitting on.
All I got to do is drive it there. He's the one who's got to sort it all out and everything. So.
Yeah. David Young wants to know, can he have some of them CPUs?
Yeah.
He is sitting on a roll, man.
So take it easy, Scrap and Salvage, and thanks for dropping in. Good to see you.
Later on, have fun.
Take care.
Yeah, I mean, like my biggest I would say payout in the scrapping industry is I pick up a lot of HVAC stuff, right? Like that's the majority of my business, right? So like central air units, copper pipe, brass, you know, stuff like that. That's my biggest thing. Like I just picked up last week 14-foot roll-off bin full of default brass fittings from a plumbing factory. Yeah, there was about 8.5 tons of brass fittings.
Now you buy that from them, correct?
No, I get it all for free, man.
Oh, talking about taking it in and beating the band.
Yeah.
I just want to answer a question there for Skids and Scrap. He was saying he watches a lot of Irish and UK farm vids, where they are taking all their scrap when they clean up farms. Are there scrapyards everywhere like in the States? No. Where I live, there's one scrapyard. In Ireland, there's 32 counties. And where I live in one county. The county I live in has only one scrapyard. Then the next county to me has 2 scrapyards. The next one down from that would have 2 scrapyards. So I'd say in the west of Ireland where I live, there is maybe 6 scrapyards spread over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 counties. So there isn't much scrapyards.
Away though. What's the furthest you would have to drive to one of those scrapyards?
Well, the nearest one to me is 20 minutes away, but it pays the lowest price. So if I want a better price, it's an hour and 15-minute drive to it. So there's not that many scrapyards around like here near me. as I say, there's one which is 20 minutes away from me, but they pay absolutely rubbish prices. It wouldn't even if you've only got a small amount of scrap and you just want to make room, I'd use them. But if my copper that I'm saving up, I would take them to the hour and a half or place instead, because they give a better price for it.
Yeah. The closest scrapyard to me is probably an hour and a half, and that's why I'm able to get what I get from all these factories and businesses around me, is because they don't want to drive an hour and a half to get rid of crap.
Yeah.
So I offer free pickup. You know what I mean? I got about 14 roll-off bins I drop off at their companies, and I offer to pick it up scot-free. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm.
What?
So I was just going to say, I'm lucky that the little yard I go to is only 3 miles from me, and given that I'm quite rural, that's pretty lucky actually. But then after that one, you're talking about half an hour drive, and I only know of one other in the sort of vicinity. When I had to take my boards, that was like a hour and a half run down the motorway, and that was if I was lucky. You know, it'd be if there was any traffic, that would massively add on, because the M25 is a nightmare. So
Yeah.
it's hit and miss really, but luckily my lovely yard's nice and close.
So are you in the UK?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
I want total silence, please. I want total silence. We have the king of scrap himself in the basement, the one, the only, Mr. Ian Matthews.
Oh no. Oh no.
Good evening, Ian. How are you?
Oh,
I'm fine.
Mike.
Mike is good, Ian.
How do you pronounce that? I'm having some kakawa.
Yes, you are, Kakawa.
You can't
Kakawa.
swear on this channel.
Anyway, did I sufficiently get me own back on you, Joe?
You did. You did.
I see you still haven't cleaned out that shed yet, Ian.
Yeah.
Oh, you
That's
hit
a
me.
green,
But it didn't last more than 20 minutes.
You
That's
wounded
green.
me. Do you know, I could practically have a dance there, me.
I don't know. I was worried you were going to have a scrapper launch after your latest video.
Yeah, where you're taking stuff out.
I've stopped leaning against things.
I can actually don't believe that I can actually see like a shelf behind you. Is there? Is that a
You
shelf?
can. I've been getting rid of stuff. I've been getting rid of quite a lot of stuff.
He moves it from behind him to next to him.
No,
Yeah, he's been getting rid of stuff for the last 5 years. I've been watching him, so
I've had nothing coming in. I have. Oh, I've had
Word search. Find
inkjet
the word,
printers.
find the scrap.
Inkjet printers.
Not printers.
No, hey, don't be lying, Matthews. You got arrested by the cops and they took your fingerprints. And he's pretending it was an ink cartridge for the job. So he is. Tell me this. You know, this comes into what I put down as the title about making money from scrap, and I was saying, look, for me to do it as a living in Ireland, it's too inconsistent. For instance, like you have a nice pickup there now of lights, but that will only happen once in a blue moon, where you get that amount of lights where you make a bit of money on it. And again, if it's only going to be good money if you're getting the stuff for free in the first place. If you had to buy them lights and then try and make money off them, it wouldn't be there. You know?
No, he wants a backhander out of it.
Yeah, but
I don't know how much to give him, to be honest. It's somebody I know, somebody I've worked with for many years in the past. He came to me, so I've got first refusal, should I say?
Yeah, well, it all depends what he wants out of it. Because if he wants half it out of it, then it's not worth doing, to be honest. Because
it all depends what Kathy wants out of it.
Well, she wants her half.
What I always tell scrappers starting out, I mean, if you're just starting out and want to get big, I tell them, go to electricians, offer to pay what the scrapyard's paying for their solid wire, because after you strip it, you're doubling up no matter what. So
yeah, but then you have the time that it took to strip that. If it took you, we'd say you bought with $100 worth of wire, and you're going to double it up to $200, but it took you 4 hours or 5 hours to strip that, then what would a rate of pay be in a supermarket? You know.
Yeah,
Would
but
it be-
Well, I mean, if you're buying $200 worth of wire and it takes you 4 hours to strip it to make 400, you're still making $50 an hour. That is not bad.
No, it's not bad, but what I'm saying is it mightn't be always that. Sometimes you might get by this wire and it might take longer to strip, or mightn't be worth stripping and stuff like that. So there is pitfalls and there is ways of making money, of course. You know, but like we say there, for instance, Shark Scrapper done a thing where he stripped out some wire and he lost money when he stripped it out.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Yeah. When he done the when if he cashed it in for as it was, and then when he stripped it out, he had actually lost money by doing it when he took his hour into it.
I
You know.
did the same.
So
with
see,
that.
I ran into that problem once. I bought a bunch of wire, stripped it all out, and I ended up losing some money on it, or was going to lose some money on it. But here's the trick behind that, and this isn't for every scrapyard. So I tend to melt the wire that I lose money on. I melt it into bricks, and then I sell the ingots on eBay, and I sell them for $20 to $30 a pound. You know what I mean? So
that's another way of making money from scrap. Because Watchcow used to do that. EWaste Bin used to do that, I think, as well. He used to sell some of his copper bricks on thing, and he used to get maybe 3 times the price of copper on eBay.
Oh yeah. I mean, you can easily get $10 times value. You know what I mean?
You know, and that's the one that cracks me up is that people will pay you for a copper brick at well above spot price. That just cracks me up.
Yeah, but again,
They're so pretty.
Yeah, but it might be a subscriber to your channel, and you might have Shark Scrapper stuff on it, and they can, you know, they're subscribers to your channel.
Well, here's why. Here's why people will pay more for the brick than they will the wire is because, you know, it costs way too much to get copper out of the ground. You know what I mean? So now a lot of these companies are actually starting to mine, you know, garbage dumps and stuff like that to get this copper, you know, and in turn, it still costs them quite a bit. So a lot of people are buying it as a bullion product because, I mean, any scrapper will tell you copper is underrated. It's undervalued, but it's used in everything. You know what I mean?
And it's going to be even more.
Eventually, them garbage dumps are going to run out of it. And then they're good. You know, these companies are going to have to fork out hundreds of thousands of dollars just in fuel to try and pull this metal that doesn't have that high of a value out of the ground, where in fact they can just turn around, raise the price, and buy that copper bullion instead, a lot cheaper.
Especially with the world going electric, with the electric car infrastructure.
Absolutely.
200 pounds of copper average for each electric vehicle.
How much?
200 pounds of copper is needed for average usage in each electric vehicle.
Hey, Irish, don't you know somebody that does a live stream on Sunday afternoons that talks about this kind of stuff?
Yes, I think his name is Shark Scrapper. Copper pricing and aluminium prices, not aluminum prices. Aluminium prices he does.
What happened to
The problem is his camera goes off in the middle of his live stream, so why bother?
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of aluminum, I couldn't resist it. I had to bring it home.
Oh, hold on.
Oh.
I couldn't leave it in the. I said, no, I have to have that one. I don't know why, but I have to.
Yeah, that's lovely. Because it's pretty. See? Because it's pretty.
But I got it for free, so that's okay.
That's why we know you have it.
Free
The
is
price
good.
was right.
Well, all that other stuff. Oh my god! I nearly cried. They just chopped it up and threw it into their aluminium.
Yeah, but here's another reason people buy copper off eBay that we're on about there. I'm saying about another reason is you have hobby people who make stuff out of copper, and they don't want to be going around and getting copper wire and stripping it and everything. They want to have the piece of copper, they can cut a bit off it, melt it, and pour it into a piece of jewelry or into something else that they will sell on eBay for more money again. And that's why if you can find someone that will do that, that's another way of making money from copper is deal direct with these hobbyists that are buying or selling on eBay. If you see someone that's selling copper trinkets or something on eBay that make them themselves, make contact with them and tell them that you can maybe get copper bars for them at a good price. You might get a better price than what you'll get in the scrapyard. So that's just another thing.
Absolutely. I got a customer that presses copper into like dishware and stuff like that. And I mean, he buys bars off me all the time.
Well,
Yeah,
listening to what Big Red said earlier about, go and see an electrician, buy his scrap. So where I get all my inverters from, so the solar power guy watch my videos, realise I'm making money on his wire. He knows saves all his wire.
Yeah, that's the other downside of it. Yeah.
Damn.
Right. So those industrial bins that shops use, he has one of them in his building. He just fills it up, and he takes it to EMR at Manchester and gets whatever they're paying for cable at the time. Yet he throws everything. He throws in the big electric tails, which are like 20 milli round. I'm tempted to say, look, I'll buy all that off you. Phone up the EMR, see what price they'll give you that day. I'll give you the same price. And then I have to think, where am I going to put all this cable? How long is it going to take me to strip it? I'll triple my money.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm an hobby scrapper. I'm an artist these days.
Yeah.
So where am I going to find time to strip all that? It's not all about money.
You just need to build another shed. That's all.
I'm going to go down. Like all these people in Belgravia, I'm going down. I'm building a sub basement.
But as Skid and Scraps are there, I strongly believe that YouTube scrap videos have driven up the price of lots. It has driven up. Again, I find that's the reason that e-waste stuff has gone very expensive to buy, especially if you're buying RAM off eBay to do anything. It's gone very expensive because, again, people see people making gold or doing whatever with the e-waste.
Money.
And again, for me to do it, it's a hobby. I'm not making money on it because I'm using assets, I'm using my time and everything. But they think there's big money being made because they see a bit of gold at the end. They go, "Oh, he's got a bit of gold," but they don't know how much scrap has been used to get that bit of gold out of it. So so it's YouTube videos have a negative side on price of buying scrap if you're into scrap in general. Yes, I agree with that.
Oh, definitely. And the amount of people doing it. I mean, the real scrappers absolutely hate me. They just hate me. I am not popular with them at all.
You're basically cutting into their economy.
Yeah, but I have no problem with anyone doing it. I don't care if it's a buck in a van doing it or bucking a person in a little car or on a bicycle picking up it's a scrap. Anyone's allowed to pick up scrap. Anyone's allowed to bring in scrap. I have no problem. These people that are giving out about people that are doing it, instead of giving out, just get up earlier in the morning, get out and get it before someone else gets it. Stop winning.
Yeah.
I get a kick out of the small scrappers. I watch their videos and they get all excited over, one computer with gold RAM, and they're like, "Oh, there's gold here," and it's like, oh, you're going to need another 100,000 of them just to get a gram of gold. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Again, that comes down to when you start scrapping first. Everyone was the same. I'm sure the first time you scrapped and picked something up, you thought it was worth more than what it was. And it's only time you realize that you need a lot of it to make a lot of money to be able to retire out of it or something like that. And that's when you make, whether it's going to be a hobby or it's going to be a living you're going to be, or you want to do.
Fire extinguishers. That's the way forward.
I've realized in this scrapping game, I just needed a mic to retire. So
yeah.
Thing is, I am that woman. I still get very excited if I find a copper heatsink because I love copper. So it's not the monetary value for me where that's concerned. I'll find a copper pipe in a skip full of other stuff, and I'm like, "Yay! It's a copper pipe." And other people will be like, "It's a copper pipe." Come on, but it's whatever you're doing it for, isn't it?
It's like metal detecting, isn't it? It's the find. Oh, look what I found.
It's the joy. Yeah, the hunt, the chase, the thrill of the chase.
Hey, Paul, where are you? I just want to ask Paul where he is. Paul, where are you? What part of the world are you in, Paul, that you want to try and sell your e-waste? And we might know someone that buys e-waste in that part of the world.
Cruiser Maxes. I should do a Colin Furs and dig to the house. No.
I just started buying e-waste off a bunch of local small scrappers here because, I mean, I pay them 7 cents a pound and the scrapyard will only pay them 5. So
Yeah.
See, this is where I'm scuppered because my license doesn't allow me to buy scrap off of other people.
License?
I'm not allowed to do it. Shush, Ian. Yes, license. Because then you're turning into a scrap dealer, which is different, and that is a license to become a scrap dealer. The monetary cost of that suddenly leaps into the thousands. So there's a flat absolute, you're just not allowed to do it. So then that scuppers it for me. I could do a deal where I take somebody's scrap and then sell it and go halves, because technically that's not me buying their scrap, but I'm not allowed to,
See,
am I differing?
in comments,
You're dodgy camera.
Get rid of them. Boot them.
Your dodgy camera.
I have
Dodgy camera.
Bye.
The sound.
Bye. Bye.
While he's fixing his camera, everyday scholars, whereabouts
I'm gonna bail on you also.
away from your buyer of boards? How far would that be?
Stoke-on-Trent.
Yeah.
That's up. I think that's up north, isn't it?
Oh,
Stoke-on-Trent. I think it's hours away. Yeah.
Okay.
So
I don't really know. Ian will probably know more.
Yeah, Stoke's not far. It's 40 minutes away from me.
Yeah.
But if I somebody tell me, because I've got in a secret location in time and space, I've got 3 half-ton bags of it I want to get rid of.
Hold on a minute. Let's see.
So in Florida, do you gotta have a license to buy e-waste?
Where has he gone again?
I was trying to tap Ian on the head, and you just ruined my fun.
Oh,
there
he wants to get a tap on the head.
No.
I want to go back where I was.
Oh no!
Stroking it for me, don't tap.
You can tap me on it.
Ralph Morrick reckons Ian, all your scrap in the shed is causing disturbance in the force.
Yeah, probably.
Ian has sharkitis.
Good night, y'all.
Hey,
Good night.
Bye, Gramps.
Bye, Kenny.
Thanks for being on, as always. Appreciate it.
Scrap well. I'll talk to you on another stream.
Yeah, keep
Take
safe,
care.
sir.
Bye.
Keep safe. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Big Red, what was your question?
So I was wondering, in Florida, do you gotta have a license to buy e-waste?
Yeah. So, if you're going to do it as a business, you have to get registered as a secondary metal recycler and secondhand dealer. You can do it as a hobby. They don't care if you do it as a hobby, as long as you don't, steal it from anybody.
Right, yeah.
Do it as a business, you get those 2 certificates. You renew them annually. Essentially, what that involves is some registration money and a criminal background investigation. They just want to make sure that you aren't, the bad guys trying to disguise yourself as a business.
So do you got to get a hazardous certificate?
Only if I handle hazardous material. So we don't classify e-waste as hazardous material in Florida. So I'm not restricted in handling e-waste.
Okay.
Now, it gets a little bit dicey when you're talking about things like CRTs, because technically the lead in the CRT would make it a hazardous material. So that's where you got to be careful what road you go down there. But e-waste in general is not considered hazardous waste in Florida.
What about batteries everywhere else? We have very strict rules on the way we have to store our batteries here if we're processing. Do you have to have special battery containers?
No, it's the buying and selling of batteries is very weird. So there's some yards that'll take lithium batteries no matter what style. Others will only take laptop lithium batteries. There are a few places that'll take nickel cadmium batteries. How you store them is more of a fire safety issue than it is a hazardous waste issue.
Yeah.
So if the fire department shows up and they do an inspection of your property and they say, usually what they'll do is on their first visit, they'll say, yeah, we recommend you do this. And if they come back and you haven't done that, then you can get into some trouble because you've created a hazardous situation. But
See, e-waste boards here are classified as hazardous waste, especially when you transfer them to the States.
Yeah, that's
Oh, yeah, I've heard that actually.
Now there are some states in the United States that have much stricter controls on electronic waste. So in Pennsylvania, in order to be an e-waste handling scrapyard, you have to have either R2 or E-Steward certification, which proves that you know how to handle it properly and safely. There are other states like Massachusetts where if you're actually going after the precious metal, you have to have a hazardous waste license. But if you're just breaking down the PCs and the computers and then selling the material off, you don't. You just need to have a scrap, or what they call it, they have a special category for that kind of business, but it's not a hazardous waste. It's not an expensive thing. So it's different from state to state here.
Yeah, that's the thing about the America. I've not,
Hey,
what you might say will be totally different from what someone else experiences. It's so different state to state, isn't it?
Yes, very much so. And even within a state, each county or each city might also have their own restrictions and oversight. So, I mean, one of the reasons that I moved my location, other than the fact that the landlord lied to me and he didn't have the proper license for what he was doing.
I've got to go. My husband's home. I'm sorry to interrupt. Quick, I'm off. I'll be in chat.
That's right, everyday sellers. Take it easy. Thanks for being up.
Bye, Mrs.
But I had to relocate to another county because the county that I was in when I first opened up in that small shop, they were just ridiculous with the oversight that they were going to put on what I was doing. And the county just south of us, they didn't care as long as I didn't start a fire.
Yeah. But that that makes it what George said there about about bringing it in a panel van so they can't see, or a Volvo car. I was going to say you could bring it in a Volvo car as well, so they don't know what you're carrying.
I'm going to disagree with that, because when they wait outside of the yard to see who's pulling in, and they don't need to see what's inside of it. Once you pull into that scrapyard, if they want to do a check, they can do. I know of a plumber took all his stuff in. It's his own business. It's his own plumbing stuff that he's collected through his plumbing business. He was weighing it in, and they confiscated the lot at the gates.
And why did they confiscate it? Did they confiscate it because he hadn't a scrap license, or they confiscated because he wasn't paying tax?
You're only going to pay tax after you've weighed it in, haven't you? So it's more like he didn't have the scrap license, or he didn't have a waste carrier's license, even though he's trying to say it's my own stuff. I mean, they say it's not your own stuff. It's somebody else's stuff.
So, Ian, what do you tell them when they stop you?
Well, I'm a metal artist. I collect artist materials, and it's the byproducts that I'm taking into the scrapyard.
Got it.
You see?
See, here we got MTOs that sit at the scrapyard, and if you're overweight of what your vehicle can hold, they'll literally repo your vehicle.
Oh, geez, here in Florida, you'd be amazed at some of the condition of some of the vehicles that people tow in. Oh my God, it would just scare the crap out of you thinking about some of the vehicles that are on the road around here.
Yeah. I mean, when I first started scrapping, I mean, this is going back 20 years ago, but I used to drive this old F-100 pickup truck. I mean, every part on it was probably duct taped on, and you could hear it coming from like 8 blocks away, Yeah.
Back in the good old days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just love watching you guys in the States scrapping. They'll show the yard, and they've an acre of land, and the bits and pieces all over it. I mean, even EWaste Mike, he shows you go in his back garden, he'll take you round, and way at the back of the garden's a bit of scrap. You're thinking, well, why is that bit of scrap there? Why is it not near you? Why did you take it so far away from your house and dump it there? But why didn't you have it closer to your house?
Well, Mike is hiding it from the city so they can't see it.
Man, if I took a video of my land, oh, it'd drive you crazy. And I got mountains of scrap all over this property.
Right, a bit like Scrap Firm.
Yeah, pretty much like him. Yeah, I mean, I got one pile that's probably taller than my barn, just full of central air units.
Ian, quick one for you. I don't know were you in early enough to know, but the guy over here is started a full-time job and is no longer going to be a scrapper.
He could be a metal artist.
No, he's actually starting a full-time job.
Oh, he's going to be a piss artist.
No, you're not. You think he's actually going working for the man. He's starting a job tomorrow morning at what time in the morning? 5 a.m. in the morning.
Don't tell me you're on a till. Beep, beep, beep. That'll be $23, sir, madam.
I don't think you'd have the personality to be on a till. If someone would go up and go, "How much is that?" What are you asking me? What are you asking me for?
No, I just hope that we don't see Mike next week up on the video going, "Look, I can't flip you off anymore."
I don't know how to lose a finger saying, "Welcome to McDonald's. May I take your order?"
So yeah,
it won't be "May I take your order?" Be "What the f you want?"
So so I've got to ask, what are you going to be doing, Mike?
I'm gonna be a metal artist.
That suits you. You've got
an artiste. I'm sorry, an artiste.
He is actually going to be working with metal.
Yeah,
and he's going to be pressing metal for making parts for military vehicles.
Well, we have a press shop, and we need that. We need that type of person who can just stand there all day going. Doof.
That's what I'll be doing for 12 hours a day.
But we do tax them because we say every 10 or every 20, check that against the master, because the stops can move, and they don't. They just keep. Duh. So it's like at least if your stops move, you've only ruined 20 or 10. Yeah. As long as you can get that in your head, mate.
Well, I could come over there and work for you, Ian, but that commute would be a bitch.
Well, no, you could stop in my shed.
Or go to
that's still an expensive commute.
Yeah.
He'll even supply a bucket for you.
Yeah.
There you go. See that?
Yeah. So Mike will not be on YouTube as much, I'm afraid.
Look what Solis is saying. Her husband he's not a fan of scrapping the garden. He'd get on well with my missus, I think.
Yeah. So, Solis, do you have bins that you hide everything behind, like certain Mr. Matthews? That you just hide it behind the bins, and the bins are out onto the road some days.
I just hired 3 guys full time to work for me doing tearing stuff down.
Okay, so you pick up something, you have a shed or a warehouse or something, and you guys in there then just tearing it down into smaller bits.
Yep, pretty much.
So essentially, you have guys micro scrapping for you.
Pretty much, yep.
Okay.
Well, are you a street scrapper like Scrap Kingdom? Do you drive?
No. I ain't got time for that. No, I pick up from so far. I think I got 102 factories. I got well over 300 schools. A bunch of office buildings, stuff like that. I'm more of the industrial type.
He's a big boy. So if he was here in Ireland, he'd be what I'd be saying is one of the big bucks that has it all kind of got already. So it makes it harder for us small scrappers to start off.
He's got it stitched up.
Yeah, the only time I do street scrapping is when it's bulk week. Then I'll take the big roll-off bin truck and just have a guy with me just tossing anything and everything in the back of that bin.
Well, where there's scrap, there's money in there.
Yeah, well, that's again, it all depends what way. For me, it's just a bit of extra cash when I do decide to cash anything in. It's not a full time, but again, it's extra money on top of what I was already making. So, you know, it's a thing. And then for the guys that's doing it full time, there is a living to be made.
I'm watching these coming. Listen, I've tied it up. I could have a dance there if I wish. More of a shuffle, but I could have a dance.
Yeah, more of a shuffle.
I mean, you can make decent money as a hobby doing it.
Yeah, you can. Well, like you say, Ian there picking up them lights, even though it's a hobby for him, there is some nice money to be made on them lights.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, now, the only thing Ian has the problem of, which I was about to ask him, is how are you going to deal with storing them lights? Are you going to take so many home every night and strip them out and then bring them all in and cash them in at the end? Or where are you going to store them then? Or what are you going to do?
My thoughts about that is on site at the factory, take the 2 or 4 screws out, stack the balls up together, and then basically on that one thumb screw takes the top off. And basically throw that in a skip. Don't bother bringing that home. You know, so I'm just going to bring home the
transformers and the
transformers. I'm going to bring home that plate that has it's only 2 screws. Was it 2?
Yeah.
2 screws. Bring that plate home. So the light iron, which was, if I remember, was about 2.5, 3 kilos. Just leave that on site. It's not worth the space. You know.
Earl has to go. So Earl, thanks for being in. Have a good night and scraps here.
Yeah, bye.
My biggest complication when I started scrapping and stuff up until recently was the amount of plastic I would end up with, you know.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I mean, you know, but now that I've been doing this and I'm as big as I am, I have a company that actually buys all my plastic. You know, because they're like a big garbage bag factory, right? So they turn it all into garbage bags, you know.
Yeah.
And they don't pay a lot. I mean, basically a bin full of plastic basically just covers my fuel, you know. But
yeah,
I mean,
you're able to get that those small scrappers can't, because we don't get enough plastic to have someone buy it off us, and then we have to dispose of that plastic, or it takes up space. Where once you get bigger, even though you're not making any money, even just getting someone to take it away for you is a benefit compared to what the small scrapper has to deal with, you know.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Bigger too, that you get more opportunities of selling more stuff, because the stuff we have to throw in our recycling bins, like plastic or whatever, or we have to bring to the recycling depots, you can make a bit of money on. Even though it's not much money, it pays some bit of a bill for you, you know.
Well, I brought home 5 inkjet printers on Wednesday, and I've stripped all them tonight, and I've filled my neighbour's plastic bin.
Yeah.
That's what I used to do. That's what I used to do when I started. I used to literally walk down the street, drive my truck down the street, and fill up everybody on the street's recycle bin with my plastic.
So I used to have a plastic buyer, and then he went out of business. And then the county said they weren't taking that plastic because that's not consumer grade plastic. So I've run in, like you, I've run into some real problems with plastic, and I'm looking for a plastic buyer. So it just grates at my soul that right now all my plastic is going in the dump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, mine don't. Mine go in a recycle bin, so hopefully it gets recycled. It probably doesn't.
I mean, so with my buyer that I had before, I was even willing to take the time to separate the ABS from the other miscellaneous plastic that would be in a PC, just to make sure that the ABS was being recycled. You know, but that not more, no, not anymore.
ABS. you can beat that as much as you like, and it just laughs at you.
The only plastic my buyer will not take is anything like card plastic, like dashboard stuff like that. It's the only stuff you won't touch.
And Big Red, what about cardboard? Do you get a lot of cardboard when you're clearing out within offices for someone?
I get tons of cardboard, but like I said, I live on a big farm, so I got a big burn barrel. I just burn it all.
Over here, there's companies that'll buy your cardboard. So is there no company in Canada who will buy the cardboard off you?
I mean, there is, but I mean, for the price they're gonna give me, I'm just better out burning it and saving my fuel.
Well, would they not come and collect it if there was enough of it? No.
No, they won't come and collect it. No.
And there's a labour side of it and a storage side of it. I used to have that 30 years ago. Produce lots of cardboard. We had somebody who would come and collect it for free once a month, but it soon builds up, and it's got to be flat packed.
Yeah.
Like that's my problem, right? Like, I mean, from one pickup, I could end up with 200 boxes. I'm not going to pay one of my guys here to cut up cardboard and stack it all up nicely by the hour when I can just throw it in a barrel and burn it and have him tear apart electric motors and get me copper,
Yeah, but the downside to burning is down the road. You're going to have issues maybe when more environmental laws come in and stuff like that, because over here, you're not allowed to burn anything anymore outside. I couldn't take cardboard and put it in a bin outside, a steel bin, and burn it, because if I get reported for doing something like that, I have a big fine. So eventually that's going to phase its way into Canada and other places. And you might think, oh, well, I'll still burn or whatever, but someone will report you, because it's always going to...
No, and I'm sure that time's going to come. I mean, but, until then, that's kind of what I do. I mean, if it changes between now and then, obviously I'm going to have to change that, but for right now, that's just kind of what I do,
The only thing you can burn over here legally is garden waste, but anything else that you want to dispose of by fire you can get fined for it, And
the only time is bonfire night. You can get rid of anything you want bonfire night.
And all they do is they employ lots of inspectors who will actually go out, and they're self-funding because the fines they bring in pays the wages. So
yeah,
So Ian, you're going to love this. The neighborhood that I live in has what we call a homeowners association.
Yeah.
This letter is written at the direction of the board of directors for blah, blah homeowners association. As you know, we are governed by a declaration of covenants and restrictions in the architectural review standards. We have found that you have the following violation. Mailbox needs to be painted high gloss black to bring back in accordance with these guidelines. Please take care to cover the numbers, as they must be visible on both sides. Please take this action to correct the violation and contact us when completed, or you will be fined.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
Thank God we don't have that here. No,
I wish I would get that letter.
Color to paint your house or paint your here.
And they have a nice color picture of my mailbox that is so dark you can't even see that it's really my mailbox. But it's like, come on, really? What? Jesus Lord. I'm sure that my mailbox not being shiny black is destroying the value of home values in this neighborhood.
Yeah, well, see what's there.
That right there is why I live in the country.
Yeah, but you have to see the problem with these HOAs or whatever you have in America is they start off as a good thing to keep places tidy or whatever, but eventually then they develop. You get these committees running them, and they develop into these vendettas against people. Eventually,
they become full of jobsworths.
Yeah, that's all it happens.
No, we've taken it one step further. There are now businesses that are running the HOA. So you have your elected board of directors, but they're not the ones doing this. It's a private company that is running the HOA now and collecting the fees. And so this is a for-profit company that is out there with inspectors finding things that are wrong with your property so that they can collect fines.
Yeah, it's like your garden's not mowed, or
that tree has a branch that is sticking out too far, or
I watch the people who mow people's gardens for free. You know,
and we've had stories over here in the U.S. of people who either for whatever reason they didn't fix something right away. They got fined. They didn't pay the fines, so it went to a collection agency. Then when they finally paid it all off, then they found out that they also owed another $30,000 in legal fees for all the lawyers that were involved from the HOA companies. There have been people who have been thrown out of their houses because of HOA over-aggressive enforcement policies.
That's crazy.
It's absolutely insane.
Yeah. I understand what HOAs are for, or sometimes is that if you have a bad person living who's drinking beer cans on the lawn and throwing the cans and being disruptive around everyone, I understand where they come into force. But when most people are keeping their houses tindered or whatever, the color of the mailbox isn't going to make a difference to anyone's value of their house. So that's just like overreach but that's what in general I dislike about America is I love America, as in most things about America I love, but that sort of overreach of people above their station thinking they can dictate what color a mailbox belongs to someone's house should be. That just drives me insane.
It's ridiculous.
It's just to get the revenue in. We've got the same with the health and safety visiting your factories. They came visiting us. If they find nothing wrong, then that's it. If they find something wrong, then you pay for the entire time that they was on your site. The factory I worked at, we didn't enforce hearing aid, not hearing aid, ear protection. There was signs everywhere. Every machine had a sign on. There was a sign at the entrance. There was innumerable stations where you could get earplugs. But they said you weren't enforcing it. And that was it. It was like, come in. That's the only thing they found. And the bill came in at something like £600 because they was on site for about 6 hours. And it was like, wow, Well, interesting. After that, we started to enforce it. And then one of the welders who had an hearing issue went somewhere, got solicitors saying you couldn't force him to wear earplugs because it exasperated his ear problem. So it's like, what does the boss do?
Yeah, well, I think if he has a medical cert or something to say that you can't do it, I think the company is covered that way as well. So that if the company can say, well, this guy came with a medical cert from his doctor to say we can't make him wear the ear things, then I think you're kind of covered. It's like where some people have, companies you have to wear safety boots, but some people, because of something with their feet, I know there was an issue before where someone couldn't wear a safety boot and he had a thing to say he didn't wear a safety boot, so the company had to move him to a place where it was less chance of anything happening to him without having a safety boot on. So he was kind of put into an office rather than out on a shop floor. But so it covered him that if anything did fall, the chances were thing. And it also covered that if the guys come in and say, why hasn't he got his safety boots on? They'd say, well, he's in an office and he's got a cert to say that from the doctor to say that his feet he can't wear safety boots on his feet for medical reasons. Yeah, I want to say a few people first that came in there because they're in on Shark's side. Because Shark is also streaming this live over in his channel. So Mike Dando came in there. And Watchcall came in. CC Scraps came in. And or Scott. Well, welcome in, guys. This is I can only highlight the chat them comments over here. Shark can't. Anyone that puts a comment over on Shark's side, I have to highlight it here for anyone to see. So,
my hands are tied.
He doesn't have the power. That's why it says Scrapping Irish, the boss.
Good God, it must be in tiny writing.
It is. I'm only a small boss.
Yeah, when I was working in a manufacturing facility, we had to provide either the foamy earplugs, the rubber earplugs, or muffs to go over your ears.
Show it again. Show it again.
Show it again, Mike.
Mike, show it again.
Mike. Louder.
Who's the real boss? Oh, you. There's the real boss.
There's the real boss.
And what trumps a boss?
Lord. Lord of the Manor. But
be careful, he's gonna get Earl.
Yes. And Earl's above the Lord. Yes.
Yeah. So Shark, you were saying you have to wear the earplugs and the ear defenders on.
No. We would make available to either the foamies, the rubber plug, or the muffs that go over your ear, so that, because any of those can work for someone. We would also make available multiple styles of eye protection. So the big goggle, the ski goggles, or the snow goggle types, or the small glass type, or if you had prescription glasses, all you had to have was a receipt showing that it was safety glass in your glasses. So yeah, we had to deal with that kind of stuff a lot. And shoes were always one of the big ones that we would have, because you had to have closed-toed shoes. You would think that this would be easy. It didn't require steel-toed boots or safety shoes like that. You just had to have closed-toed shoes. And oh my God, the games that people would play rather than just wear a pair of shoes.
So safety flip-flops were out then?
Yes, those were out, but people would try.
And yet, I've seen all these videos in a certain continent where they're pouring molten metal, making all sorts, and they're wearing flip-flops.
No comment.
I meant a different continent.
Hey, I wear safety socks when I pour my molten metal.
But I see a video today actually where someone was pouring a molten metal, and he had I think he had flip-flops on, wasn't it? I was looking at it, I was thinking, or he had a pair of shorts as well on as well. So I was thinking, no, he nothing happened to him, and he's been doing it loads of times. But I was thinking, I wouldn't like to be wearing shorts if anything splashed back with molten metal onto your bare legs.
It happened to Ralph, didn't it? He had a splashback.
Oh yeah. I saw this one video that it was a Science Channel kind of thing, and this guy was saying, "Yeah, what's wrong with this picture?" And there's this attractive woman, and she puts something inside of a test tube, and all of a sudden it explodes, and there's this orange-brown gas coming out, and I'm sitting here thinking to myself, let's see, no eye protection, no fume hood, they're poisoning themselves, there's just how many things are wrong with this picture, right?
But there used to be two I think you were on before, two scrappers, Shark, and they'd be doing the gold recovery, and they'd be pouring the acids in, mixing the fumes from the nitric gas to be coming off. You could hear them choking, and they're saying, "No, we'll add some." And you're thinking, they're going to die if they don't go out of the room, and they're coughing and fluttering and they kept that. I was like, "What's wrong with you?"
Yeah.
They was thinking, "Think of the gold. Think of the gold."
Oh my God, it was so hilarious watching those folks. I mean, I haven't seen them in years, so I'm not sure if they're dead or if they just stopped doing their channel. But
yeah.
There was one stream I was doing, and I was pouring molten metal in a graphite block, and I was doing like 20 things at one time, and I wasn't paying attention. I took off my glove, and I went to go move that graphite block after the fact.
Ouch.
Yeah. Didn't even realize it burned a hole right through my hand.
Oh God.
Yeah.
So since then, do you wear proper safety gloves?
Oh, I was wearing them that day too. I just took them off to do something else and didn't think twice, just reached over and grabbed it.
Track was about earlier in his one about safety things. Sometimes you might be doing everything right, you'll be putting on your goggles, whatever, and that one time that you reach for the grinder, forget to put the goggles on, it's the one time it'll shatter into your face,
Yeah.
You know,
No,
it's-
I'll tell you, when I grabbed that block, I couldn't even let it go because it just burned right into my skin. So it was like stuck to my hand.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
Well,
you know,
that guy, that you know, that Chinese guy who got that big cauldron, you know, he did it, you know, kung fu. He got that big cauldron and came out of David
get bushed
Carradine.
out. Yeah.
I think that's called television, Dean. Not real.
Not real.
No.
You've ruined my childhood.
Sorry, I've been quiet. I've been editing a video, but that's no problem, Bush Dog. I do that sometimes. I just have videos playing when I'm doing something. I just listen to what people are talking about, and that is not an issue ever.
You know, we used to train sailors in if there was a fire in a space. If you were getting, rather than go up to the hatch and put your hand on the hatch to see if it was hot, we would train them to put the back of their hand on the hatch to see if it was hot. Because if you burn the back of your hand, you're still going to be able to do this after the scars develop.
Yeah.
But if you burn the front of your hand and you get heavy scar material, it could become very hard to do this.
Yep.
There we go.
So that was, you know, if you ever see you can always tell if someone was from the Navy because they test to see if something's hot with the back of their hand.
All right, guys. Well, I got to jump out here. I got to get some work done and stuff. But thanks for having me.
Hey, no problem. You're always welcome.
Great chatting with you, man.
And seeing what you actually do as a full-time scrapper and how big you actually are. Because as I say, you are one of the big boys. I call you one of the big boy scrappers.
Yeah, I'm going to be coming out with a video here in probably the next 2 weeks. I got about 600 copper motors I'm going to be extracting the copper out of. So,
Whoa.
Oh, that'll be good.
yeah.
I want to see your yard too sometime when you get a chance.
Yeah. Let's do a tour of your yard for us.
Well, I'm going to be doing a video anyways because I got to send Mike pictures of all these boxes of crap. So, yeah, I'll be doing a video on that.
You call all that e-waste crap. That is like that is what I dream of having.
But yeah, no, I'll definitely do some videos and yeah. So, all right, guys, take care, eh?
Hey, Big Red, take care. Everyone hasn't got Big Red. He's got 2 channels, Big Country Scrapper and Big Red Bullion. So check them out, guys, if you haven't got them.
And it's gone 9:30, so I'm going to bow out as well.
Hey, I'm going to bow out because I'm an old man and I need my sleep.
Yes.
And if I don't grin, my wife is going to kill me. Is that what you're trying to tell us?
Yes, I've had too many late nights where she said, "You've been talking to them men again, haven't you?"
And does it?
You've been talking to them in your shit.
I said, "It's the man with the silver tongue." I said, "He can't." You know.
Tell her that if she's nice, I'll bring her chocolates again the next time I'm over.
Or Easter, you mentioned that she don't eat chocolate.
Okay. Oh, so who ate all the chocolates? You ate all the chocolates, so
I did. So yeah, so Easter, I was in the shop and I saw this Easter egg, and it was like no sugar chocolate. It was a plant-based chocolate egg. Right? I thought, wow, she'll eat that because it's no sugar. Right? So I bought this egg. You know, took it home, surprised her. She was like, "Oh, you got me an Easter egg." Like, you know, I don't eat chocolate. And I'm like, "Yes, it's no sugar, 0 sugar." Took it out. It was dark chocolate, and she don't like dark chocolate.
Oh.
So I had to eat that one as well.
Right, don't go for a second, Ian. I just want to go down and do something, and then I want to get a drink, and then so you keep talking.
No, I'm going. As soon as you've gone,
back in a minute.
Ian, you know that chocolate is plant-based, right?
Yeah, cocoa beans. Yeah.
Yeah, and sugar is plant-based for the most part.
Yes. It was a con. Well, it was the thought that counted, that I'd gone and looked out for something that was met her needs.
Yeah. Hey, let me see if I got this picture still. I want to show you. This is something my wife made for Easter for some kids in the neighborhood. Yeah. So she made these.
Oh, I think you showed me those last week.
Yeah, I showed you once before. I couldn't remember. That's actually white chocolate with coloring.
Right.
and she did the kind of temperature stuff so that it gets nice and shiny. And then she made, this was really cool. She made like this crunchy peanut butter kind of filling that went inside of them. Oh my
However
God.
interesting this is, you're just dragging this out, so I'm still here.
No, I'm trying to.
Yeah, well, I can see straight through you.
Hey, have you ever seen an egg bleed?
An egg bleed.
Yeah. Legit question.
No.
I made breakfast this morning and I had a bleeding egg.
Oh, that one partially fertilized.
I'll make it big so he can disappear. Give me a second.
No, I'm just interested in why somebody can have 4 eggs for breakfast.
I can have
4?
Ian.
No wonder
I probably eat 2.5 dozen eggs a week.
Whoa, that's not a base.
That's just foul.
Eggs are healthy.
Oh my God.
Foul.
Do your research. You'd be surprised how healthy eggs are. Everybody got that misconception that they're not, but they are.
Well, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm off. Good night, gents.
Thanks for being up as always.
Been a pleasure.
Tell me before you go in, did you do a video tonight? Have we another video to look forward to, Jordan, or is there?
I've got a short one, a real short one. It's only 20 minutes. So, we had a day out, and we went to a curio shop. It's like antiques, second-hand stuff, and everything. So I filmed that. It's mainly for Cruiser Mac, but I did.
Okay. So was that out tonight or is it out tomorrow? When is it out?
Well, it's nearly cowboy time, innit? It depends, Last night's video, I fell asleep editing it. So
you can understand why we would fall asleep watching them.
Yeah, I mean, what do you do? How long does a tale take to tell? Do you go for the series? 1, 2, 3 videos of the same thing? Or just like, I'll stuff it. I'll put the big one out. They can either watch it or they don't watch it.
Look, some people will either watch it fully the first time, or they might watch half it and they'll watch the other half another time. It's just do what you want to do yourself, as far as I can see. That's the way to look at it. Yeah. And if people watch it, they watch it. If they don't, they don't. You can't force someone to watch something. So just put it out.
Well, I only watched his long, dragged out 38-minute video of it because Ella was on the thumbnail.
I've sussed that out. Put Ella on.
Yeah. Put something else on the front.
Yeah, reel them in.
Reel them in. But yeah,
listen, you only watched it to see if I'd put your sticker above Shark. And believe me, I searched here within the last 5 minutes of me having to go to the yard. I searched here for me box of stickers, and I couldn't find it. Otherwise,
all right, I'll send you 20 more.
20 more.
And Ian, I was watching it so I could see that you hadn't put it up there yet.
And I'm
looking. I'm like, where's my sticker?
Appear anywhere.
I'll be in the bathroom.
He's right. I'm reading what ES says. I'm just like that guy who don't want to leave the party in case he misses something. FOMO, fear of missing something.
Yep. Yeah. You have to stick around in case of something.
I'm not. It's 10 to 10. I turn into a frog at 10 o'clock. A toad. Or is that midnight?
I do that. I do exactly what you scrapping does sometimes. If I'm doing something, I'll put the video on, I'll give it a thumbs up, and I'll let it play fully in the background. And if I hear something that I need to comment on, I'll comment on it. If I don't hear anything I need to comment on, I'll just let it go. So, but I always hit the thumbs up in case because you know the way YouTube will go on to another video afterwards, another one, and then you'll have forgot to put the thumbs up. That's why I always.
Of course, I'm going to say a big thanks to everybody. I said it last week, but Gary's touching film. It was good. I did get a comment saying, that's just full of meat. Me too. And I thought about that, and I thought, well, the old Anvil Yard give me a lot of content. So it's not really, it's more of a moral responsibility to say, look, they give me a lot of content. I share out. It's not me too to share this out. You know.
I don't get what they meant by that comment.
I don't understand what you mean.
Me too. The me too feeling. Oh, look what I've done. I'm really good. Look at me.
I see.
And I was a bit, no, I weren't doing it for that. I was doing it because the guy asked and was stuck. And he said, running the 47 miles won't be hard, but raising the money is even harder. He said, and he's plateaued. He couldn't raise any more money. And he asked for help, as you saw on the comment.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, it's nothing for me to share that.
Did somebody accuse you of this Me Too thing?
Me Too virtuing, yes.
Really?
Yes.
Well, they just don't know you well enough.
No, so I thought, well, no, I'm not doing it for me. Oh, look at me. Look what I've done. I thought, it's what you lot have done.
Well, that's the way I took it. That it's everyone that in the community that give all the scrappers came together and give something and raise the money. That's the way I looked at it. That it just shows how good of a community we have of a group of people. That if there's something out there and we think it's a good enough cause or it's a good enough reason, we'll all come together and support it. So, or support the person who wants us to do it. You know, so that's the way I take it. But again, you're always going to have people out there who will just want to have a bite or have a go or. You know, because their life, let's just face it, there's something going on in their life that isn't making them happy. So the only thing that makes them happy sometimes is to have a go at someone else. So that's what
I guess if every week I put out a video, give money to this charity, give money to this cause, give money to that cause, it could become.
Yeah, you know, but you don't do it every week. It's not like you're every week saying, oh, we need to do this fundraiser, we need to do that fundraiser. It was just one that because you go to the Anvil Yard, you know the people personally. It kind of maybe was more personal to do it, that's because you know the people, you know who they are, and that's the reason you've done it. I don't see why people have to be negative about that.
Well, you can't please all the people all the time, can you?
No.
That's why we should be more like Mike and just not give a crap about anybody.
Except for Ralph. He loves Ralph.
I love Ralph.
He does love.
Oh, look, that does he love Ralph? He sent him everything, a pillar to put his head against.
When he's crying at night, he cries into EWaste my pillow.
I gotta send him a shirt.
Hey, Ian, if you go in the house with whiskey on your breath, you know that you're going to be in trouble for drinking with your friends.
I'm in trouble anyway. They hang you for a sheep as well as a lamb. You know. Oh, Ralph mouth. Oh, Ralph.
Oh,
I love you too, Mike. Oh.
That's for you, Ralph. You did,
I'm just so comfortable in your.
Hey, even though EWaste Mike is saying he won't be doing as much YouTube now, I know well he'd be sending videos to Ralph still, giving him little videos every day of how his day is going, making him feel good, you know.
Well, at least a weekly dick pic.
Really? Oh, I've got a picture of me gardening I can send you.
No. If that time of year again now, you'll be soon out planting the flowers again.
I need to get a tan this time.
Don't go out yet. This weekend is still promised. Is it tonight or tomorrow night? There's still a frost promise. Be careful. You might freeze something.
Good night, gents. See you around.
Take it easy. Bye-bye.
Cruiser Mac, you're well mentioned in my next video. Just to let you know.
Make sure
get my stickers put up somewhere. Yep. Scumbag.
I have got one of yours somewhere.
Yeah.
Hey, Ian, when you're out gardening, don't pull the wrong bulb.
Bye.
Bye.
Where's
Mike left too.
He's not. He's down the basement messing around. I said, where did the two? Why did there's only two of us now?
I didn't know if you noticed.
Oh, I told you, Mike. We don't want you to leave YouTube. We want you to stay.
How could we miss you leaving, Mike? Come on.
Yeah. No, the thing I like about Mike is it doesn't change whether he's doing YouTube videos or you're talking to him off screen or whatever. He's the same person. He's not putting on an act.
Call me on the phone. You'll really get a dose. Right, Shark?
Oh man, Irish, I don't even want to tell you about how Mike has answered some of my phone calls.
Oh, I could imagine. And poor old Chris, I'd say, gets it as well from Port Sort.
Oh, you know what he did?
Here we go.
No, I sent him that box of stuff. I sent him CPUs and all this crap. He's, oh yeah, I'll have it all done this week. He sends me a message. Oh well, we didn't get around to getting all your CPUs done, but we got your scrap done. So I basically, told him what I thought about him and his crew and went about my business.
Simple Man is over on Shark Scrapper side, so welcome in. Simple Man.
Keep your ass over there.
So, Mike, I get my phone rings and I look at the caller ID and it says Mike, and I pick up the phone and I answer it like I normally answer it with you. It was one of my construction clients.
Oh,
he's like, I just thought you would want some scrap.
You better put a different name on there.
When we rings, what the hell do you want? I told you not to ring me today.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to change Mike's caller ID.
Yeah, you have to have like Grumpy Mike and Happy Mike, something like that,
No, I'm just gonna change Mike's on the caller ID. I'm just gonna change Mike's first name to A-hole.
You wouldn't be the first one that has it on their phone. My neighbor, my granddaughter, when she was little, she took my hair and put it all in pigtails, and my beard was all. So they took a picture, and that's his. When I call him, that picture pops up on his phone. So I'm all in pigtails
and your beard all braided.
Yep.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it. But yeah, it'll be a big change for you now, Mike, to be doing I was going to say 9 to 5, to be doing the 5 to 5.
Right,
because when you do work for yourself, if you don't feel like doing something or you want to do something else, you just do it. But when you're working for someone else, you have no choice. You just have to do what they tell you to.
Yeah.
Well,
I guess all I'm doing is pushing buttons. So.
I know.
I mean, it's not, it's gonna be boring, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
Hey, gotta do what you have to do to pay the bills. They don't pay themselves.
Nope, they sure don't.
They sure don't.
They don't pay themselves. As I say, that's one of the reasons I don't think I'll ever go into full-time scrapping is when you get used to being guaranteed a wage and a certain amount, at least you can budget on what you're going to have. When you're a scrapper, you don't know what you're going to have from one week to the other. So you might have a really good couple of weeks, and then you might have really, really bad weeks.
Yeah.
And that's the downside of working as a scrapper. You don't know. And again, it's very seasonal. Sometimes the year is really good, and other times it'd be very bad when you're a scrapper, I presume, depending on where you are, like if in the world as well.
Well, and the other thing is that we don't have any control over the price of our commodities.
Yeah.
Those are being driven by much larger forces than us. We're just going along with the ride there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has slowed down a lot for me here. I mean, it's just like, every month I was getting, scrapyards calling me, and like my scrapyard was there Friday, so I took in that bunch of stuff, and he had like a half a pound of electronics sitting there. He's like, nothing's been coming in, and the other yard has like two boxes, but I have to drive 20 miles, one way to get them. So I usually wait till they have 3 or 4, and then I go get it, because then it's worth the trip to go. So, and then my computer stores are low. One guy called me yesterday. He's like, I got about 40 monitors and about 30 all-in-ones. If you want them, you can have them for free. If you come up and give them today. I was like, nope, not coming up again. Throw them in your dumpster. I don't want them.
Well, today I got a video sent to me by Pop Scrap, and he's collecting up array. He just said to me, do you want all these DVD players and stuff like that? So again, sometimes like that, I was thinking to myself, I'm running out of stuff to take apart now at the moment. And next thing, then Pop Scrap is saying he'd have a bin load of DVD players and electronics like that for me. So again, that's something that just helped me out again when things were getting a bit quieter for me on the hobby side. But if it gets quiet for me on the hobby side, it doesn't matter. I can just wait until it picks up again. But
I went down and looked in my basement yesterday, and if I had to put a value on all that stuff, even if I broke it down, it's only probably $500 worth of stuff down there. Because it's like DVD players and VHSs, and I mean, there's some decent stuff down there, but it's just time consuming, and it's not worth the time to sit there and take it apart.
Yeah, not for you as a full-time scrapper, it wouldn't have been worth your while. But for me as a hobbyist, if I'm watching a YouTube video and I'm taking apart DVD players at the same time, it doesn't, it means it's just my downtime. I'm doing something in it,
Even all that electrical stuff I have, to take it apart and get the copper, it's still, time consuming. And copper, number 2 copper here is $2.99. My yard gave me like $3.05, I think, the other day. Gave me a little boost because I took in, over 100 pounds of it. But it's just, it has slowed down a lot. A lot.
Yeah, when I went into the yard this last week normally I'm getting at least 500-600 pounds, sometimes over 1,000 pounds. And this last time I went in, I think they only had maybe 10 computers for me.
Yeah.
It's like.
Yeah, but then that could come into time of year too. Like I'd say when schools break up and stuff for summer, it's when you might see more computers coming on thing, because people will be clearing out from schools, clearing out old computers and maybe replacing them with new computers. And you might have, when you go back, kids going back to school again, they'll be getting rid of their old laptops and maybe buying new laptops. So that comes into the time of year as well for electronic scrap, I think. I find that during the summer, you'll see more computer stuff coming available because people are getting rid of their old computers and maybe upgrading them, getting ready for the next year in school or whatever. And they need to upgrade the computer to a better standard or stuff like that. And again, at Christmas is always a good time for electronic waste because people are getting rid of the old electronics and maybe buying new electronics they got as presents or whatever. So electronic is kind of more seasonal than general scrap, I find, anyhow.
I think I'm going to do like Irish did with his RAM. I'm just going to overpay for copper wire and just, strip it and sell it and lose money. But hey.
Hey, when you're doing it as a hobby, you can afford it because you have your wage coming in.
I'll tell you what, I bought 500-foot spools of, 10 gauge wire for $15. And the guy brought it to my house.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. He lived like 4 blocks away. I got it off a marketplace. I look on there all the time.
Yeah, so that's a good deal actually.
Yeah.
I had
sitting under the bench.
I had this guy that I was negotiating with. He had a 10 by 10 storage bin full of wire, mixed gauges, different sizes, but good wire. And it was coming up on its expiration date, and he hadn't been able to sell it to electricians. So he started panicking, I got to get rid of it. And so I said, all right, well, here's what it's worth to me. And he's like, oh no, that's not nearly enough. It's worth this much. And I'm like, well, not to me, it isn't.
Right. Yeah, it's only worth what someone's willing to pay for it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That.
I have a guy who has 1,000 servers. The only thing out of him is the hard drive, but he wants $15 a piece for them. I said that's too much.
That's not gonna work.
I mean, I pay if they have everything in them, I pay $10. If they don't have the hard drives in them, I pay $5. I don't care about hard drives. Hard drives are just a pain in the ass to me.
Hey, so I just had a PlayStation commercial come on.
You know how you fix that, Shark? You close out your YouTube side. Like I did. Then you don't have to watch it.
I'm giving Irish feedback on the.
Yeah, he sent me no information, so I know for again.
Yeah, I'm giving him information how to get rid of that.
And anyhow, I'm about to finish up. Only a minute to go, so I'm going to ask you guys what you're up to for the week. So I know what I'm going to get when I come to Mike. But anyhow, Shark, what's the plan for the week?
So we're going to have our. I'm pretty sure we'll have a video out Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then the Patreon patrons will get their video Wednesday. We'll see what comes up during the week is going to drive what kind of videos we get put out. And then we'll do the live stream again Sunday, 2 p.m. Perfect. And hopefully the camera will work then.
Yeah, well, all you need to do is make sure you charge your battery beforehand.
Yeah, so that was an interesting lesson learned because I didn't realize that it wasn't charging when it was plugged into the computer.
I was going to say, maybe if you take your battery out, would it run then off USB without a battery in and run off USB charge?
I don't know.
That's something you'd have to test out and see. Maybe if you have no battery in, then it'll use USB power to run itself or whatever. But it mightn't be enough power in the USB anyhow to run it.
I don't know, but here's what's really interesting. So I started doing this, I started with that new camera 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And so it ran, each of these live streams for 2 months on one battery charge. So that's a pretty daggone good battery.
Yeah, that's a good battery in there. Yeah. So Mike, now that you're starting your new job, will you be doing anything on YouTube this week, or will it be just you'll be more likely not on YouTube this week?
You're not going to see me on YouTube for a while.
Okay,
Right.
so for those guys who are in the chat and don't know from the beginning, Mike has got a new full-time job, which will be 12-hour shifts, so he won't have as much time for YouTube going forward, but hopefully he still will do a bit of YouTube. We hope, because we like Mike.
Maybe.
Whether he doesn't realize it or not, we do.
Don't sit on your computer looking for it, because you've been sitting there for a while.
Hey, so Mike, if I send you pictures of the sunny sky or the clouds or something like that, are you going to get them? Are you going to have your phone on you at the workstation?
Yeah, because it'll be dark most of the time I'm working anyways.
Oh, okay.
No, just in the morning. Yeah, you can send them.
Right,
We got nice weather all week, so.
oh my God! See what Superman wrote? Thank God.
Oh,
No, he did make a laugh afterwards. As it's his only
It
joke.
don't matter. Superman's blocking my channel anyway. He can't even see my shit if he wanted to. It don't matter.
Good luck, Mike. Don't kill anyone. So yeah, good luck in your new job, Mike.
Yeah, I'll probably just kill myself.
Well, and as I say, you're always welcome up here on this chat anytime you want, and I hope you will.
I'll still be around. It's just
Yeah.
videos and stuff. It's just gonna be a pain in the ass. And the bad part is I have to, because I still have those rooftops to do for my neighbors. I can't. Yeah, so that's gonna have to be a on a Friday thing too. That's the only day I have off is Friday and Saturday, because like my Monday would be Sunday. So I'd work Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Oh, you work Sundays as well?
Well, the Sunday is considered Monday, because like I'll go in at like 5 a.m. Monday.
Oh yes, I know what you mean now. Yeah.
It's just the way they do it.
Yeah. So it is. Yeah. So yeah, Friday and Saturday, the only days really.
So I figured I'll work there until that big red country Canadian piece of crap gets his shit together and gets my stuff down here, and then I can quit.
Yeah, and then you have rakes of stuff to keep you busy again in the e-waste world.
For a while.
But again, if you keep collecting stuff up while you're still working and just build it up, and if you're somewhere to store it, then in 6 or 7 months' time, you'd have a big.
That's the problem. I'm not gonna have anywhere to store it because the house next door is she can't do nothing until the middle of July. July 21st around there. So that's another 2 months yet, 3 months almost. No, April, May, June. Yeah, 3 months. So
you might have to buy a trailer and park it in her yard and stay there.
I'm trying to get shit out of her yard.
Anyhow, but I should be finished up 3 minutes ago. So hopefully I'll have a video of Thursday, guys, and you might all do me a favor. I'm going to put Pop Scrap's link in there. He's still looking for more hours on his watch time. So if you guys could go over and just watch one video and leave a comment on it for him, and just say Scrapping Irish sent you over to give some watch time, and just try and get his watch time up. I say no one's going to make big money out of YouTube in the scrap world, I don't think, from watch hours, but it's just a nice achievement to get monetized when you're into the YouTube video and stuff. So I put his link in there. If you can go over and watch a video and leave a comment, and it'd be much appreciated. As always, thanks to everyone that was up, everyone that was chatting in the panel, everyone that was over on Shark Scrapper's side of it as well. Really appreciate you coming in and contributing. Until next Sunday, keep safe. And who wants to give the Ralph Morrick part?
I got one better. Here's what I got to say to everybody. Bye, bitches.
Scrap you all later. Bye-bye.